If you're a new parent, you know how scary and daunting it is to come home from the hospital those first couple of days. So today, as a nurse, I'm gonna give you my top 3 tips that you need to know about your newborn when you get home from the hospital. So stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Josephine and I'm a registered nurse. And if you're new here, welcome. We talk about the journey through pregnancy for new moms, motherhood, and inspiration. It would help me out a lot if you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads that I make. And today we're gonna get right into the topic, so let's get into it. So tip number 1 is to get a baby monitoring system to monitor your baby's vital signs. The chance of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome, is significantly higher in the first to 4 months of life. And it's diagnosed by a baby who's less than 1 year old suddenly succumbing to death due to unknown illness, unknown history, and upon autopsy, they really can't find any definitive value to say what caused the death of this baby. There have been some correlations with babies who have succumbed to SIDS, and they were born with a developmental delay in detecting low oxygen levels, the ability to arouse from sleep. I say this as a nurse. If you can monitor your oxygen levels of your baby and your heart rate of your baby and their sleep cycles, you will just have more peace of mind to know that your baby won't succumb to SIDS. And what me and my sister got is called the Owlet, and it monitors heart rate, oxygen levels, sleep cycles, so that you can know when your baby's getting the deep sleep. So it's definitely great, and I would recommend. It's very easy. You just put it on the foot of your baby and it monitors. Your baby doesn't even know it's there. And we've had such great experiences, would definitely recommend that product. Tip number 2 is breastfeeding. We're gonna go over a couple of things that you need to know about breastfeeding, and the first one is called cluster feeding. And this is when a baby is demanding or requiring more milk over several hours. The times that babies will want to cluster feed is between 6 to 10 p.m. or sometimes during most of the night. And usually that precedes a growth spurt that the baby's about to go to. The demand for milk is higher because the baby is about to grow more. So they're gonna be crying more, they're gonna be wanting milk more. And a lot of times moms think that they're just not producing enough milk, but in actuality, the baby is actually going through something very normal called cluster feeding. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that your baby is gaining weight appropriately. Some doctors do 3-day visits once you have been discharged from the hospital. Some doctors do next day visit. So definitely make sure that you're talking to your pediatrician to make sure that your baby is gaining weight appropriately. And if they're not, then definitely you need to talk to them about your milk production and milk supply. Which brings me to my next topic about breastfeeding is if you are having trouble latching, it's okay for you to hire a lactation consultant. Before you were discharged from the hospital, you should have seen a lactation consultant come and visit you about the different types of positions you could put your baby in while breastfeeding and how to latch appropriately. Now, if you're still having problems with latching, then I would say definitely hire a lactation consultant. And at this point in time, when you're coming home from the hospital, your body is really trying to learn how to make milk. And so what you don't want to do is create an oversupply very fast. What you want to do is create enough milk to meet the demands of your baby. A lot of times, if you start pumping within those first 2 weeks of having the baby, you're gonna be creating an oversupply and you're gonna actually create engorgement in your breast. And that is very, very, very painful. You're gonna have to keep pumping. You're gonna have to go under hot water to make sure that the milk is coming out at a certain time. So definitely make sure that you are just giving your baby the milk when he's calling for it or when she's calling for it. You want to make sure you massage the breast to make sure all of the milk supply and potentially any clogged ducts would be emptied. And you want to do is change positions of your baby when you're breastfeeding. So if you're holding them like a football, next time cradle them in your arms. The different positions when you're breastfeeding will actually empty out different ducts in your breast. And why it's important to empty those ducts is to make sure that you prevent mastitis. It is so important that your ducts and your milk supply are empty because mastitis is inflammation of the breast tissue, usually caused by an infection, and that is so painful. Mastitis is usually seen as, it's red around the breast and the nipple area. It's warm to touch. When you're breastfeeding, you'll feel this like burning, tingling sensation. If it starts to get worse and it's untreated, you'll have fever and chills throughout the night. You're gonna feel like you're really sick. And if those are some symptoms you've been having, definitely make sure that you reach out to your OB-GYN doctor so she or he can prescribe you antibiotics. Usually what they'll do is prescribe you an antibiotic treatment for 10 days, and if the pain is just so unbearable, then you can get Advil or Tylenol over the counter for pain. If you do have mastitis, continue to pump, and when you do pump, you've got to really massage those knots out. You're gonna feel really hard knots around your boob, and it's gonna hurt really bad. Tip number 3 is preventing diaper rash. Diaper rash is when skin becomes very sensitive and red due to being exposed to lots of time in pee, poop, or even just moisture in general. Some signs and symptoms, you'll see like red butt cheeks, some dots on the bottom going up to the private areas, flaky skin. It'll be really warm to touch. It'll be very, very sensitive. Your baby may be very fussy when you touch that area. And for this, prevention is key. You can actually prevent diaper rash, but don't be ashamed or guilty if your baby has had diaper rash, because there are lots of treatments that you can do to help diaper rash, and it usually clears up within a couple of days or weeks. So prevention is key. So 1 is change your baby's diaper frequently, whether they pee or poop. Make sure that they're not sitting in moisture for very long. When you're checking the diaper, make sure that it's not too tight. You can have some fingers in between the diaper. But what's so important is after you clean them, you need to dry the skin, whether that be blow dryer on low, cool settings, or you can use a towel, something to pat dry the skin, and then you want to apply a thick barrier cream to prevent the moisture from sticking to the skin. And my sister used Boudreaux's butt paste, worked phenomenally, and I would highly recommend this product. It's very natural, very easy on the skin, has some aloe in it. And if your diaper rash doesn't improve over a course of a couple of days, definitely make sure you reach out to your pediatrician, you schedule an appointment, and have them see your baby, because sometimes it can take a little bit longer, and pediatricians can prescribe some higher medications that are not over the counter. And those are my 3 tips from a medical professional on what you need to know after the hospital. And if you have any other tips or tricks that you'd like to share, leave them in the comments below. Love to build a community with you of like-minded women and moms trying to get better and grow with one another and encouraging one another. And even if you're not a mom yet like me, we can always learn more, always grow more, because it's a great day to grow. I will see you guys later. Bye.